Hey guys, this is Brian with Thumper Fab. Today I'm going to walk you through the installation of your headache rack on your Ranger 1500. The first step in the installation process is you'll install your rear panel in the headache rack frame using 8 M8 bolts. With the rear panel installed, the next step in your installation will be mounting your fair lead to the winch mount. For the next step in the installation, you'll go ahead and mount your winch using the 4 M6x20 bolts and lock washers. For the next step in the installation process, you'll install your winch stop. For the next step in the installation, you'll fasten your winch hook to the winch cable using a cotter pin. For this installation, we decided to go with the Rotopax mounts, so I'll go ahead and mount those now as it'll be easier to install before it's up on the vehicle. For the next step in the installation process, you'll remove your OEM rear bed light and replace it with our cover plate. You'll be relocating the bed light to the rear panel of the headache rack. With the headache rack kit, we've provided an extension harness to lengthen your wires from the OEM roof light location to the rear panel location. Once you plug in the extension harness, you'll feed it down through the back of the windshield to allow you to be able to plug it in the rear panel of the headache rack. With your extension harness ran down behind the rear windshield, you can go ahead and finish installing your rear light cover plate. For the last step in preparation for the installation, you'll mount your rear cab light in the rear panel of the headache rack using quarter 20 bolts and nuts. For the next step in the installation, you'll grab a friend to help you put it up to the rear roll cage of the unit and start your bolts evenly. The first step in the process is you'll loosely tighten your top bolt to get the headache rack hanging from the rear of the roll cage of the unit. And then you'll be able to start your bottom bolts before tightening all 4 evenly. Once you have your headache rack fully tightened, you can go ahead and plug in your rear light using your extension harness. With your headache rack fully fastened and mounted to the unit, we'll go ahead and begin the wiring instructions for the winch. Headache rack fully fastened to the unit, we'll go ahead and begin the wiring portion of the install. So the first thing we'll do is we'll need to gain access to the battery. You turn these 2 cam locks and you can move the battery tray cover. With the battery cover removed, you can take the main portion of the harness for the winch and you'll feed it through over the battery to get into the engine bay. Your wires ran through the firewall. What you're going to do is route the wires up the passenger side, zip tying it to the frame of the headache rack, being careful to avoid any sharp edges or hot areas. You route your wires on the inside of the headache rack, zip tying it to the frame. The driver's side, where you're looking to. The rack is provided with zip tie slots to route your wiring for a cleaner look. You can either mount your wires on top or on the bottom of the headache rack. Now that you've tucked your wires, you're going to connect the wires to the winch. Yellow to yellow and blue to blue. Depending on which side of the headache rack you plan on mounting the switch to, you may have to move the switch from this side to that side to line up for the hole so that the switch is still upright. With your mount bracket on the correct side of the switch, you can go ahead and mount it to the rear of your rear panel. With your switch securely mounted to the rear panel of your headache rack, you'll zip tie the wires for the switch to the bottom tube of the frame and route it down the same way as your power wires. On certain applications, you may have to extend the length of your wire for the switch. If you have to, you'll cut it, add the piece of extension, and make sure there's a ring terminal on the other end for attachment. To finish up the wiring for your headache rack, you'll connect your blue and black wires to the switch wires and your black and red wires to the battery. And you're ready to hit the trails.